Hey everyone, me Kevin here with another stimulus update for you for today, August 30th. So first, I want to clarify something that I said earlier, and second, I want to react to what Mark Meadows just told us about the current state of stimulus negotiations. Let me first start by just clarifying something that was mentioned earlier. Earlier today, I suggested it would make sense for companies to basically take the payroll tax deduction and hold it into like an escrow account or a trust account or something rather than giving it to the IRS. Then, if the payroll tax gets forgiven, the companies can give you that money. That was met with a lot of skepticism in the comments that, well, businesses are just as much of a scam as the government is. How can we trust the business? And I think the solution for that is if companies wanted to, and if there was a way to structure this, which there is, we do this in real estate all the time, you just take the money from the business, you send it to a neutral third-party escrow company. They're all over the place. The escrow company holds everyone's money. And then if the payroll tax gets deferred, great. You get sort of your payroll tax stimulus check. If it doesn't get deferred, the money goes to the company and then goes straight to the IRS. Here's why, because I know that sounds a little complicated. Here's why this is so important, and then we'll get to talking about Mark Meadows. If companies don't do this and the payroll tax come January ends up getting forgiven, we're all gonna look back going, dang, should have taken the payroll tax cut. You see what I mean? It's like we are going to give away, we're going to give the government more money if we don't do something between us and businesses. So even if that means taking the money, putting it into an escrow account, and maybe that escrow company putting it into like a high yield savings account or something, right? There is a way to do it. We don't have to talk about all the complexities, but there is a way to do it to make sure businesses do the right thing and the government doesn't get your money. Because if they're offering you this payroll tax cut and we're not taking it and they end up forgiving it, then we lose it. We don't get it retroactively. That's all. That's where the suggestion came from this morning. Hopefully that clarifies a little bit because I know there's a lot of skepticism about businesses doing the right thing and certainly the government doing the right thing. Totally agree with you. So hopefully that clarification helps. For now, though, let's talk about Mr. Chief of Staff Mark Meadows because he was interviewed and he tells us a little bit about the state of the negotiation. All right, here we go. Mark Meadows on the right, White House Chief of Staff on NBC's Meet the Press. Here we go.
I'm running low on time. I know that perhaps you and Speaker Pelosi may be talking today. The Democrats believe they've come down and they would like to meet you halfway. They believe halfway should be $2.2 trillion, maybe $2 trillion. Are you willing to bring up the number that the president will support?
Well, we brought up the number. I had a conversation with Speaker Pelosi, and even on her $2.2 trillion counteroffer, she can't tell the American people nor me what is in that. I can tell you what is in the offer that the president has made and he's willing to sign.
Quick interjection there. He made it clear that he has recognized Nancy Pelosi has come down to 2.2, and he's already clarified that we, aka him and the Republicans, have come up to 1.3. So he's completely up to date. He also alluded to a phone call coming later today. So we'll pay attention to that. We'll see what potentially comes out of that. Right now, let's see what he says is in what the president's willing to sign.
Enhanced unemployment at levels she would agree with. Enhanced help for small businesses at levels she would agree with. Literally help for daycare and hospitals at levels she would agree with. And help for schools at levels she would agree with. Here's the problem is, she puts forth a number, suggests that she came down, and yet she's willing to turn down $1.3 trillion of help that goes to the American people because she would rather them have nothing than to give way on what her fantasy objection
Meadows, that
might be.
I'm going to pause there just for a second. So quickly, when he says on levels Nancy Pelosi would agree with, that's presumably going to be an unemployment enhanced amount of between $400 to $600. That's the current presumption as to what Pelosi might be okay with, along with the other Democrats. When he says PPP on levels that Democrats would agree with, he's referring to Democrats being okay with another round of a PPP loan for businesses as long as their incomes have fallen 25 to 35%. So there's that sort of additional criteria. Childcare and schools, we've already seen both sides agree on $105 billion for those. So let's go ahead and keep going. Let's see what the reporter here interjects with.
What you're suggesting can't pass the Senate, right? The Senate doesn't have a majority support for that as well right now.
I mean, that would require Senator Schumer. As you know, anything in the Senate requires both Democrats and Republicans. But Speaker Pelosi, if she worked with Chuck Schumer, I can tell you all of those things that I just mentioned are available for the American people, and the Speaker Pelosi is saying no.
Are you going to bring your number up, or is that is 1.3 your final offer?
Listen, we're not going to negotiate here because the Speaker...
Pause. Note that. This is very important. He did not say that he would not increase the number. He's doing a very Larry Kudlow move here. We're not going to talk about that here. We already know Donald Trump kind of showed us his hand and said he's willing to do a stimulus package up to $2 trillion. $2 trillion would pave the path to get the other things Democrats want, including money for children, rental assistance, the eviction protections, and rental assistance for tenants falling behind, maybe homeowner assistance as well as, of course, stimulus checks. Also, money for state and local governments, but that's probably going to get cut out, and most of that's probably going to get held until January.
Been very clear. When she said 2.2, she said, don't do anything at all, Chuck. I said, what does the 2.2 represent? You know what her response was? I'm not going to tell you. Let me fill in the blanks. That's not a proper negotiation, nor is it anything that the American people accept. In fact, many of her rank and file members don't even accept it.
Let's pause there for a moment and try to understand that. Does it seem likely that Nancy Pelosi would say, I'm not going to tell you what's in the $2.2 trillion? Maybe in the midst of negotiating, that line may have been said. I could see that being said in the way of, let's not focus on what's in it right now. Let's focus on the total number. I could see that, and I could also see that pissing Mark Meadows off because it's like, no, the devil is in the details. We got to know. Where's the money going? We don't want to fund certain things that we're, opposed to as Republicans. So I see how this could have broken out. I think that was probably part of a broader negotiation, though. So a little out of context there. I'm gonna call Mark out on that. However, we already know what Nancy Pelosi has indicated. She has said, we're taking the HEROES Act, everything that's in the HEROES Act, and shortening the time frames for things. So the HEROES Act's $3.4 trillion. Let's bring that down by only providing funding for unemployment for maybe 4 months instead of the previous 7 months, something like that. That's one of the ways that Nancy Pelosi has suggested bringing the number down. Obviously, it's nice to know all of the details, and hey, maybe they'll figure that out on their phone call today. And certainly we want to see stimulus checks come up as well. Okay, so after that, the screen changes and basically says, make sure to check out the coupon code down below to join the amazing courses on how to make YouTube videos, making money from home, how to make money with real estate, how to make money, obviously, with stocks and the psychology of money. Some amazing programs in the links down below. Use that coupon code, folks. I can't wait to see you there. We get to chat on the live streams as well. And folks, we will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching again, and we'll see you soon.